Yo, episode 4, you know what I mean? You got me, Shayla, aka Shay Mug, aka Mugs for short. Also one take Shay. You know what I mean?
You also got me, Dele, aka Diamond Boy, aka Golden Boy. And we have 2 special guests on the show.
I am Tati, hey y'all. And hey everyone, my name is Nia.
Alright, let's drink up to episode 4, man.
Let's drink to that.
Back at it again.
Cheers.
Y'all got Instagram?
Yeah, like what's your Instagram?
Yes.
How can they follow y'all? What y'all got going on?
So hi, it's Tati again. You can follow me on Instagram at Tati_Jackie, JACCKY. You'll get all things heels content, dance content, all that stuff about me and my life. I also have a heels page where I teach heels classes exclusively.
Ladies.
You can follow that page as well. That's curves and stilettos, all things heels, everything you can imagine. Yeah, and I have a class coming up next week, so stay tuned.
Check that out, man.
And then my name is Nia. My Instagram is Nia Michelle with 1 L. My page is actually really kind of all over the place a little bit. You can get a little bit of nurse stuff, you can get a little bit of dance stuff, and you can just get a little bit of travel stuff, foodie places. Hashtag it's always Galentine's Day. If you need a place to go with your gals.
Nice.
Galentine, that's the first time I heard that.
For real?
Really, that's like a
I
thing.
never
That's a thing.
Galentine's.
Yeah,
It's
girl.
before Valentine's.
Oh.
You really
I thought
somebody
it was-
dad.
I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
When girls come together for Valentine's Day.
Oh, okay. You hip on it. Okay.
Paying attention.
You
We'll
hit
talk about that later.
Yeah.
So, what's going on? Like, what's going on with the news? What's going on?
Market right now pretty bloody. With the whole war with Russia, Ukraine, the stock market is probably at, for me, like all-time low. I'm getting notifications crazy.
I turned mine
I
off.
haven't even checked.
Yeah, it's just so. But don't panic. This is your chance to buy any stocks that you couldn't afford, or double down on stocks that you already have. So don't panic, man. It's a long-term game. So yeah. What about you?
Yeah, so I mean, not really in the stock market, but just something that I learned in class, and we was talking about a term, heirs property and stuff like that. So that's the interesting thing that I learned is that from 1920, African Americans, they have over like 20 million of land, and it represented 14% of home ownership, and how over the 90 years that was lost, and I think now it's like 2%. And the reason why is because people passing over don't leave any wills and things like that. And once that happened, it turns into heirs property. And because, like, let's say if your grandfather had this piece of property, he didn't leave a will, and it went to their heirs, he could have 5 heirs. Then once those 5 heirs die, then they may have 5 children, so now it's 25 heirs and so on and so on, and then now you're dealing with 100 heirs. And the unfortunate thing about that is having fractional interest in it is that any interest can force a sale. Any interest can go to a court and say, hey, we're having trouble managing this property, can you force a sale, and things like that. So any family member, whether out of the 100 or 200, and honestly, an investor or somebody, a buyer or something like that, can approach one of those family members and things like that, and then they can just say, you know what, we want to go to court and we want to force a sale. And sometimes, if you're dealing with low-income African Americans, they can lowball the system, put in, auction off. And there was this one case where, like, this family lost over 420 acres of land.
Damn.
I know.
Yeah.
It was sad, and one of the grandmother on there, the older lady, and she mentioned, and she was just like, people have to have a will because it creates chaos in the family and things like that, and to have that much acres of land lost, and most of the time that is because, you know, we're unaware of how the legal system works and things like that. So, you know what I mean? And they didn't find out until they was in a lawsuit and things like that.
Yeah.
Until it was too late and stuff like that. So that's more important. More of the stories, make sure that, you know, you create a will.
Yeah.
I also wanted to say something to that because when I heard that, I was like, damn, like, because the post that you had posted on your page where it had like videos of whatever that documentary was, I was thinking like that also is the importance of like Black people knowing like financial literacy and knowing the importance of like really holding things. Like, so yeah, like the stock market is bad right now, but like your first instinct shouldn't be to sell. Like you really should think about like, you know, Jay-Z talks about it in his songs, like about holding things. Like, what is it? The song where he's like, you know, I bought this thing for $1 million. Now it's worth. Yeah, like it's like, you know, and the guy in the post that you talked about was like, oh, I approached, like, basically this is 90% of his business model.
Exactly.
He goes to people's families and be like, you trying to sell, like, and he dangles money in their hand because we're not like financially literate enough. We see green,
right?
We don't really understand
the value.
It's looking at the instant gratification that, you know what I mean, like, oh, I'll give you this couple thousand, and in reality,
it's
the property,
millions.
Exactly, like the property that they 420 acres of land. When they showed the video, it was this massive forest, and I think the investor brought like $500,000 for it and things like that. And now when you look at it, the trees is being cut down. They're going to start developing things and things like that, and it's going to be worth millions. And that's the most unfortunate thing is that like you just got to be aware of just what you own and things like that, and having access to the legal system. Because I did not know that information, that it was once 14% and now it's about 2% of Black home ownership. So this is sad.
And I think coming from like being a Black homeowner in which like I actually like inherited it, they target me. Literally, I think every day I get an envelope in the mail saying, hey, we will buy your home as is for X amount of money in cash today, right now. And I feel like if I wasn't privy or if I was strapped for cash, that would be something that I would jump for. But at the end of the day, like I'm realizing that my great grandmother put this into our family for a reason. And at the end of the day, technically it's like a 3-bedroom house. So if it's anybody who really needs a place to stay, they will be able to do so rent-free, mortgage-free. We just got to pay a little water and electric. But that's available to them, and it's available for our family for many generations to come.
Exactly.
Facts. And after you guys watch this show, you guys should ask your parents, grandparents, if they have a will.
Exactly.
Make sure, you know, I know that's probably a touchy conversation or subject, but you guys should definitely ask and if there's a will. So
but it's more touchy without one.
Exactly.
And if they do have that will, that it's updated. My grandma and my dad are a little bit tedious in a sense that they update it every month because things change.
Yeah, it does.
How you feel about something?
Yeah, things change. Not how you feel about someone, but just you gain things, you lose things.
That's a fact.
Things change. Like, and if it's like, oh yeah, I have a will, it's there, but you haven't touched your will in 5 years. Oh, okay, but does it include the different things that you've invested in this year? Does it include the different things that you obtained, that you lost? That you might have a new child. Well, baby Tink Tink is only 4 years old. She's not in it. So it's just like,
for real.
I guess adding that component, like, we have a will, but then it isn't updated.
Exactly. And one last thing that I do want to mention is that when I found out that, you know, African Americans was disproportionately given that heirs property, it just put a lot of us at like, you know, vulnerable economic risk to, you know, be approached and things like that because, you know what I mean? Like people are going to try to reach out and things like that. So if you have over 100 to 200 members of your family that really can change the, you know, direction of your family, who's to say? You never know when somebody is strapped for cash and things like that. And all they gotta do is approach that one person, and then
I mean,
that's it.
We hear stories and watch movies about this all the time. You know what I mean? So it can definitely happen for sure. For sure. You want to talk about the agenda?
Oh yeah. So moving on. I mean, episode 4. So today's topic is a real. Today's topic is a very interesting one. We're really excited about talking about it. It's really about the 9 to 5 of millenniums and things like that, and what's that experience is like, and because once back in the day, like like our parents or grandparents used to work a job 30-40 years, get a pension, and that was it. And today is really not the case. You know what I mean? Excuse my French, but our generation is more like fuck that job. So it's like
dead ass, fuck that job.
So like that's like kind of like the topic that we want to talk about, and Deli's going to kick it off with our first question.
First question. Let's start off. What does everybody do for a living? Right. So we can start with Tati and then.
Okay, so my name's Tati, as I've said before, and I am an artist. So I am in the art realm. Currently, I am in graduate school. So I am TAing. So that means that I'm basically doing different jobs for classes. I am working in admissions, and I'm doing a bunch of stuff like that. Then outside of that, which coincides with my actual major, which is dance, so I'm getting a master's in dance. I am a dance teacher. And then outside of doing that, like I hold my own dance classes myself. I do privates. I get paid to do performances, etc.
Big money.
Yes,
for the girls who can't dance, hit her up, man.
Yes, I can help you. I promise I can.
Those 2 left feet, she gonna make one right
now. My name is Mia, and I am by trade an ER nurse. I have
Big money.
Big money.
Especially during this time. During the pandemic, I always like to joke with people, but it's not really a joke, but my first day off orientation was April 1st, 2020. And so,
that's crazy.
So I'm an ER nurse. I am in charge of mentoring Minds That Matter, and I'm in a couple of different schools in the Philadelphia School District, where I try to expose them to different career opportunities that they don't have. Or might not be exposed to at the time, to just expand their horizon. I also am involved in dance, like Tati stated. That's actually one of the ways that we crossed paths long ago. Right now, I'm not privy to teaching at any specific school, but I do freelance choreography and performance work. Yeah. And then I also do a little bit of commercial work on the side. It's a little
commercial work.
A little secret thing that
can you give us a hint?
Residual income. I think the most recent thing that I did was just breast cancer awareness commercials. And telling different women's stories to promote more Black and brown people in the breast cancer realm. I think a lot of time we see Susan G. Coleman and a lot of Caucasian people who are advocating breast cancer awareness for, but they realize that it's in these commercials and in the media, we don't acknowledge Black and brown people. So that's one of the things that I was hired for. So yes.
That's nice.
I love it.
Yeah, that's good.
I like that. That's nice.
Yeah.
For me,
Down back.
Yeah, I'm just a
golden boy.
probably software engineer.
Okay.
So I just do programming, more specifically mobile app development. Make apps that you see on your phone.
Big money.
I need to hit you.
Right.
And then after that, probably just teriyaki, probably just management.
Marlton, New Jersey.
Yeah, Marlton, New Jersey. Check it out. So I'm either cooking in the front or just holding down the front, honestly.
Wait, you said teriyaki? That's the restaurant?
Yeah.
Say it a little bit.
Teriyaki Madness.
I
was say it. I know that. Where?
Shout out the business.
Right.
Okay.
Good food too.
Yeah, food's good.
Facts. What's that joint I like? What's that?
This shit going on the podcast too. I don't care.
Shayla's favorite is the egg roll and the pot stickers.
Pot stickers are good.
No, it's not. No.
Oh, the crab ragoon.
That salmon go crazy though.
It was good. It's my mom's favorite.
Salmon is
Takers.
The
Yeah,
salmon go crazy.
Come on in and I'm gonna take care of you for sure.
Facts.
So yeah, that's what I do basically. That's my tweak.
Okay. Dang. So for me, I work for the government. I do. I handle like reasonable accommodations. People that need like, let's say if like your back is hurting and you need a stand-up desk, you would reach out to me. Interpreter services. If you're deaf, hard of hearing, you need an interpreter. You reach out to me. A lot of things that's like been happening, like this COVID and things like that, and the exemption process, and because you have a medical condition, religious conditions, and things like that, you reach out to me. So I'm in that realm, and it's been crazy for the last couple of months and things like that with everything going on. So I deal with that, and also I'm in the reserves, paralegal, so I deal with stuff like that. Also, just a couple of little side things that I do. Obviously, this podcast, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Things like that.
Yeah.
So, dang,
Jack of all trades.
Yeah, I write books.
Big money.
The biggest.
Nah. But I do a couple things, but I'm really excited about this podcast, man. That's really where, you know what I mean, that's really where it's at, and that's what I'm really excited about. But yeah, that's what I do for a living.
Facts. So how's everybody's experience working as a millennial thus far? How's the experience? We can start with you.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because when we were talking about coming on this show, I was like, I've never really worked a 9 to 5. As a nurse, we work 12-hour shifts, and something that was really interesting when I was coming into nursing was that we were in the pandemic, so a lot of things were surrounded by needing extra help and bonuses. So a little like disclaimer, when you're a new nurse, it's really hard to get into different specialties. They want you to go to nursing homes, or they want you to go to med-surg. In which I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I can't do that. So here we are. And I saw an ER nursing position open up, but it was only part-time. And I was really nervous about that, just like listening to my parents and my grandparents and my great-grandparents at the time. And it was kind of like, no, you need a full-time job. You need to get the benefits. You need to do this, that, and the third. And I was really conflicted about what I should do. I started working part-time, and then a full-time position opened up, but it was solely night shift, and I was hired for part-time days. So 7 to 7 a.m. to p.m. is really different from 7 to 7 p.m. to a.m. And I was nervous. I was like, my circadian rhythm, just me being attentive and awake for patients, like, because it can be an emergency at 3 a.m. And am I going to show up to your bed like I am here to put in the IV, or am I going to be able to do that? And I am thankful to have a manager who was really open and transparent for me to talk to him about this with. And he was like, if part-time's for you, part-time's for you. So I decided to go part-time, and I pick up, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, full-time hours to accommodate like my different financial needs. And then I just made sure that my side hustles were prominent on the side. And that's hard sometimes, but just like, really making sure that's diligent in that thing. So that's kind of like my background and my experience with that.
Yeah.
Could you repeat the question?
How's your experience so far working as a millennial, 9 to 5? Just the working experience.
Oh, the working experience. It's actually funny because, so, I mean, it's obvious to the people in this room, but like, y'all don't know, but so Shayla is my boyfriend. And
She got the queen tuck, just to let y'all know.
You show up the cup.
Show the diamonds,
Diamond is custom studded by hand.
When we first started dating, I was 23, and he was 25, and I had just graduated college maybe like a month or so before that, and I remember telling him, I was like, I don't want to work like full time. And if y'all could have seen the look, the look this man gave me, he was like, what?
What you mean?
No, when she first, I said, what? was like, yeah, I don't think a 9 to 5 is for me. I said, what?
But let me tell you something. I have thought that way my entire life.
Mm.
And it's so funny now because we have so many people who are creatives, who are entrepreneurs, but I've always felt like I don't want to physically have to clock in most of my time to somebody else. Like because I am an artist, because I'm a creative person, like I need time to be inspired, I need time to create. So it's like, yeah, like I can put in hours for somebody else clocking in doing something, but I also need that time to do my own personal work. So like I said before, like I'm a dancer, I'm a choreographer, like I do a bunch of creative things, but that all takes time. That's like not also included on the billing cycle sometimes. And you have to make sure that like you are organized yourself, and even though I said I don't want to work full time for somebody else, it doesn't mean that like I don't want to work. Like all I do is work. Like, you know, like I said, I'm going to school, which I'm being creative at school. I'm also TAing, which means I'm in other classes and I'm teaching them. And while my major is dance, like a lot of things can be talked about in dance. Like I was TAing for this course called Embodying Pluralism that talks about like race, gender, all of that through the lens of dance. So I'm getting my master's so I can eventually adjunct at a university while still like pursuing my other creative adventures on the side. So I've done like lots of odd jobs here and there, but now I feel like I'm really at the place where like I'm on the track to doing what it is I want to do. So I do that, and then I teach dance as well for like another studio, and those are hours. But then also I do my heels, like, which I would say is a personal business because I'm putting in a lot of my own time and my own money, like hiring videographers, doing social media.
It's 100% personal.
It definitely is. And I'm in the stages where I'm like partnering with people, and partnering is not a bad thing, folks. But sometimes when you do partner, just know that like you do have to share. So that is one thing. And I would say that I'm really on the track to becoming a full-time entrepreneur. But that is like 24 hours work. Like it's like you always have to be disciplined, like, and also too, like if you have a home and you have like a partner, and you have to learn how to like factor those things as well as like self-care and all of that stuff into your entrepreneurship, but not also let your business down at the same time. And I'm in a place right now where I'm really trying to like find that groove of like, you know what I'm saying, like the balance of like being the, you know, the amazing supportive girlfriend, and then being the entrepreneur, being the like, you know, just being me. So that's like my experience.
Yeah.
Alright, I guess I can go next. Yeah, so I would say like, so prior to meeting Tati, I was definitely in the mindset of, you know, working 30 years, 40 years, and getting a pension. And then when I meet her, she like, yeah, you know, maybe a 9 to 5 is not for me. So I'm like, what you, like, so it's like, you know what I mean? So like, I was like, you know what I mean? I was one-sided at one point in time. So it's just funny how when you meet somebody, your whole perspective can really change and things like that.
So Tati pushed P.
I did. I was the original.
She did. She definitely did.
Pushing P.
I'm crying. I'm crying here on the side.
She definitely did. Yeah. Fun fact: she was the one that gave me the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that's really how really changed my whole perspective.
Golden.
Yeah, no, honestly, because I was definitely that type.
This some movie shit.
I was definitely the type like, yo, I'm gonna work here 30.
See, this is why you need a girlfriend, guys. I'm telling you.
Retweet that.
I'm telling you.
And
we'll talk
Why you need a
about
girlfriend,
one
man.
rose.
The right woman
One
will
rose.
really put you on the right
Y'all not here to give relationship advice. Remember that.
no, but
That's true.
I do
But at
want
the
to
same
say,
time, it can bring you money.
I do want to say it's actually funny because at that time I was a part of a dance company, and I met with a guy who is he's a known like commercial dance for choreographer, excuse me. So.
Yeah, that's how. Yeah, that's the story. Yeah. So honestly, so like, you know, so after that point, I really started looking at life even differently, like just the whole perspective, and I started thinking like, maybe I don't want to work somewhere 30, 40 years. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like, when you retire, they're going to look for somebody younger, you know what I mean, faster, whatever, things like that, and pay them for less. So I started looking at things a little bit differently. But my my experience personally.
Keep it real, man. Don't hold back, man.
I'm gonna keep it. You know, I might lose some things. But like,
Keep it 100.
you know what I mean? Like, nah, I just don't. I don't like it. Like, I'm. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't like. I don't like feeling like I have to be somewhere.
FTJ.
Every day.
For most of my day.
Most of my day. I don't like how I can have a great week and the one moment I slip up or mess up, somebody could be like, reprimand me, and I'm like, yo, so you telling me all the things that I've done this past week that was good means nothing. It don't mean nothing. Or I get sick or something happens to me, you thinking about how we're gonna push this work product without you. You know, so it's like that type of. So you really don't care about like my life. Like you really don't. I'm just a number, and I'm just a person that's pushing product and things like that. So I kind of started looking. So I mean, my experience in general is like, I'm just like, okay, I see the world for like, I see what it is, and things that I don't even know if that makes sense. What it is, but my head it makes
sense. See the world as what it is.
Right, exactly, my man. But yeah, so it's like it's that kind of perspective and things like that, and just really trying to figure out like, how can I limit that? You know what I'm saying? Like, make moves on my own, you know what I mean? So, go ahead.
Deli, what do you do? Or what's your experience?
My experience has been an awful experience. No, I really don't like it. I don't like working. I remember when I was a kid, I think I got my first job when I was in high school.
Yes. We used to work at.
Nobody really knew, but I used to work at one of my aunts. She had like a restaurant in Black Oak Clementon, in like that plaza. It was like a Jamaican soul food.
You worked there? I ate there.
Yeah, I worked there, like in the back, just cutting up onions.
Yeah.
I worked there. Literally after the first day, I took off. Like the second day.
Say you see what you hate.
How do you work for one day and then take off the next day? I just don't like working.
I feel like you have a problem with authority.
Not really.
I do.
I feel like
not really. I listen. I'm a person who listens. No, I do. I listen. But if I feel like what you're saying is like,
then you decide.
Then I make the choice for myself. Yeah. So I can actually share my last experience working. So I was a software engineer at some company. I don't want to name the company. And me and my manager really didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things because he wasn't really a technical person. So I feel like, why are you my manager if you're not technical? And everything I do is technical.
Connections.
So, he was just, he would say things, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I remember I just came back from Nigeria. I went to Nigeria in November. I said, yo, I need a week off. And mind you, I've been working 6 months straight prior to no takeoffs.
No takeoffs.
So, or call outs or anything. He said, yeah, I don't know if you have enough PTO. You may have to resign and reapply again.
Like what?
What?
How long have you been in this job for that?
I started in December 2020. I then went to Nigeria in November 2021.
Oh, you was there for over a year.
Yeah, I was there for a while.
And he said, no.
So he was like, oh, I had to do all this extra, talk to this person, talk to this person.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, this is just for a week. Me, I like to take 3 weeks off, whatever. Cool. So in my head, I was like, yeah. When I was in Nigeria, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna quit soon. Because I'm not, I'm not even gonna beg you to take off, you know what I mean? So, and it got to a point where he used to write me up. Because he just we didn't like each other. Yeah. So I messaged him like, yo, you're messing with my livelihood.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all this writing up is unnecessary. Just come talk to me if there's an issue. So I just put my 2 weeks in. I didn't care no more, so I just put my 2 weeks in. And that was back in, that was last month. That was January 7th. It was my last day at that company. So, yeah, I just don't like working. Growing up, when people used to ask me, what do I see myself as, or what profession do I want to get into, I never really had an answer, because I really never saw myself really working the traditional job. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's been my experience, man. Just get in and get out, man.
Just to piggyback off that, like that kind of experience, like I had something similar. Like for most people that know me, I have like a quiet demeanor. Like I'm not gonna just talk just to be talking and things like that. So, and like during our weekly meetings or whatever and things like that, and you know my supervisor, he reached out to me. He was like, "Yo, can you talk more?" Because people people in the meeting started to say like you kind of isolate yourself and things like that. I'm like, yo, what the? I was so like.
What I gotta talk about?
I was so.
Exactly.
I was like, yo, if I don't have any, because honestly, I'm like, yo, we talking about like sport. It be unrelated stuff.
Unrelated to the work task.
Unrelated to the work task, and you're like, yo, people starting to feel like you're not on the island with us, like you separating this. I'm like, yo, what?
I'm at work.
I'm like, yo, this has nothing to do with me. I don't really care about the topic. It's not like we're talking something that's pertaining to what I do. Right. We're talking about the coaches being fired or something like that. Like, it's because I'm not enjoying I'm not joining the conversation. I'm like, yo. So it's like one of those things that really just like kind of upsets me. But it's like when you're put in that predicament and like you're like, yo, so I guess I gotta conform and things like that. So it's like you placed with that experience, and the experience has been trash. It really has.
Yeah, that's why it's my goal eventually to like not work for anybody. Like,
I'm gonna drink to that.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything left in my cup, but I would drink if I could.
Now we gonna get you right now.
Oh yeah, we got more.
No, but I feel that because like it's the element of just feeling like you're disposable. Oh, excuse me. You want to say something?
Keep going.
Okay. I just feel like it's the element of feeling like disposable. Like when I worked the job where I was an assistant manager, but my manager, she went on like maternity leave, and I basically took all the managerial responsibilities. First of all, y'all know they was not about to like give me any extra money for taking on those managerial positions. I mean, for those responsibilities, and it wasn't until I talked to Taylor, and he was like, "You should ask them like if they're gonna give you more money. Like, you know, you should ask them." So it wasn't until I did that I realized like, all right,
for sure. Like, companies will take advantage of you.
They'll take advantage of you, and especially as I'm gonna go on my black woman type time. Like, typically speaking, black women are the lowest on the totem pole in terms of like our pay. And like, I'm not for that. Like, even as an artist, like, I don't want to be struggling. Like, there are people in my class who talk about like, you know, like dying for their art, and it's like, I like being an artist, but I'm not about to do all of that. Like, I want to live a certain way. So like, I'm gonna make that happen, and I've seen it happen. It's possible. So I'm not about to like limit myself and struggle because this is what the world says that black people should do, or because this is what the world says about what artists should do. No, I'm not doing that.
Facts. That just even got me hot because I want you guys to realize these companies will take advantage of you and they don't care about you.
That's a fact.
So honestly, get the fuck out if they playing games. No, for real, get the fuck out. If they playing games, get the fuck out.
What if they gotta like pay their rent though?
Be smart, but get the why you can't, because like,
plan your escape. That's
don't do things impromptu. Know your situation.
Fuck that job.
Fuck that job. Because they don't give a fuck about you.
At the same time, I think we need to acknowledge a little bit of history though, right? Like a little sad moment. Unfortunately, like a lot of things were put in place and a lot of systemic things were bred into our minds,
most definitely,
generations into our culture. Yo, honestly, like shout out to William Lynch, because his William Lynch files fucking worked. Excuse my French. But
it did.
They worked. He was like literally low-key a genius in the sense of sociology and controlling people's minds, because it's still effective now, hundreds of years later. So we were bred to work. We were bred to think that we have to fit in this box, in this mold, to be able to thrive and survive. And unfortunately, I think that now we have the blessing to be able to break out of that and see that we can be more than that. So for all the listeners, I encourage you to think outside the box with that.
Yeah, and be educated.
Information can save the nation.
For real. Like, really be educated.
Honestly.
I'm saving that
These
line.
big companies would get one over. They would. I'm telling you, what they do is they brainwash you. They'll tell you things like, I'm gonna give you a promotion.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you manager.
Keep you online.
You know what I mean? That's all.
Yeah, but that's capitalism, though, right? That's capitalism. That's what our country thrives off of. And that's low key the whole point. You just have to figure out who you are as a person. If you're a worker or a leader, an innovative thinker, or a follower, and then move accordingly. And also be honest with yourself. Like, some people are meant to be and are okay with a 9 to 5. Yes, I'm telling everybody to shatter the glass ceiling, right? And to keep doing what you want to do. But at the same time, we have to acknowledge the fact too that
We
some
need 9 to
people
5.
Yeah, we do need people
are okay there.
Right. Yeah, no, that just reminds me of my mom. She works for the government, and I remember she was telling me that she was getting a new position where they were giving her like more responsibility. So my first question was, is you getting more money? And her response was, oh no, but I get unlimited overtime. And I was like, and right now, like, my mom's working from home, like, because of the pandemic, but like she typically does a 9 to 5, but like she also like low key is not always enjoying her job. So I'm kind of like, you know, and she's close to the age where she can possibly retire soon, but I'm like, that's not what I want for my life. Like, if I want to work, or no, I'm gonna work because obviously I need things and I like nice things. But like, I need to be able to enjoy what I'm doing. And while like teaching dance, you know, has its ins and outs and it has like its issues. And right now I am like teaching a lot of people. Like, I'm teaching like 10 years old all the way up to like adults. Like, so it is a different variety. I enjoy it. Like, I enjoy it to like enough to be like, okay, I can dedicate the time to doing this. And I think that working period, like if you're doing something you like to do, it's not going to feel that taxing. But like, I remember my aunt was like, oh yeah, like if you wasn't in school, like my job's hiring, she works for family court. And I was thinking like, girl, if I wasn't in school, I wasn't going to do that anyway. Like, what? Like, that's not like, I value my time. Like, you can never, ever get time back. And I feel like I'm creative enough where I can get it. And I believe in God enough to be like, all right, he has a plan for me and he will provide for me. And if this is what I feel like I don't want to do, like, it ain't just out of nowhere. Like, it's because like, this is what I genuinely feel. And I've been making it thus far. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been, you know, an artist and I have not been struggling. I do not, you know, want for food or nothing like that. So I'm like, let's see how far we can take it. Like,
I'm trying to get like you, my boy.
I'm like, you know, I'm trying to like, let's see how far we can take it. Like, I'm trying to be all employed by dance. I'm trying to be all employed. You know, I do my little investments here and there. You know, got dividends going. I'm trying to make it so that like, you know, I invest comfortably, but I'm trying to make it so that by the time I'm 35, I don't have to clock in anywhere. Because sometimes the job that I really love to do, I don't want to do it. Just being quite frankly, like being honest, like I don't want to do that shit. Like, I want to be able to be like, I can take off or not do nothing and not be like, but damn, do I need this money? Like no, I want to have passive income enough to be like, I'm on a yacht somewhere, and it's like, and it is nice when I get those little notifications now, and it just like lets me know like in the future it's going to be even bigger and even brighter when I get, oh, you received a dividend in this amount for this today. It's like, oh snap, I didn't even do nothing and I made money. Like, that's so nice. And I, as an investor, like I do not like, basically what I'm saying is that I invest mainly in stocks that give like dividends. I do, like, sometimes I do the risky investments when I listen to Shayla.
Can you guys help us out for the beginner investors?
Yes, absolutely. So,
let's get into it, man.
So, okay,
people watching probably don't know what that is. So,
yeah.
Well, so I'll explain for myself. So basically, from my understanding, you can invest in a couple of different ways. So you can invest in stocks that have dividends, and that the dividends are basically like you get awarded, let's say maybe 25 cents per share that you own of this company per quarter, or like per half, or per whenever they basically say. So depending on like, you know, but let's say like it might seem 25 cents may be like, oh, that's nothing. But like if you have 1,000 or 1,000,000 shares, it's like that's a grip. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you're not doing, also you have to keep in mind, like you're not clocking in nowhere, you're not doing nothing for the money, but just putting your money in and you're letting the company do whatever they need to do with it while you're invested in them. So I like to invest mainly in stocks that have dividends. I do the risky investments. Crypto, I am in a little bit of crypto. But let me tell you something. I know Deli was super optimistic.
Teach me.
If I can jump in, Taza, she's probably one of the most disciplined investors out there, because I be coming with some like, yo, this
crazy
thing might,
ideas.
I'm like some risky investments. I'm like, yo,
the
this
one
thing
where
is
was
gonna.
like, they about to drive cars on the moon or something. What was that one? Where they was like,
You exposed me right now. What you talking about?
it was some stuff where they were about to like have cars go to the moon or something.
Long story short, I be coming with some wild like
Ideas and
wild,
we
some
have
wild
to,
ideas.
like,
Yo, you should put in what you know. You should put your money in and take that money.
my
She like,
Capricorn energy be like,
she be like,
we gotta
does
see
it
the
do
numbers.
dividends or anything like that? Just say, what's the dividends looking like? And I'm like, it's not dividends. I'll wait it out and things like that. So that's one thing I definitely wanted to add on and things like that.
Yeah, basically dividends is basically they just pay you to own. So if you own it, they'll give you money.
They will literally
either quarterly, whatever.
That's what really changed my whole perspective when I first got that dividend.
That part.
That's what really changed my whole perspective when I first got that dividend notice. I was like,
I ain't do nothing.
I was like, yo, I ain't do nothing.
I ain't do nothing.
I've been
And
chilling,
they
and they
gave me money.
gave
you to
money.
hold something.
They gave me money to hold something, and more than the bank.
And also too, because like I work differently, so like I work, so yes, I do have my studio job, which is like consistent, and that one is year round. But if I take like, if I take a gig where I'll do like a video shoot for somebody, or if I do something like that, I have to be smart about that money, like, because it's a one-time thing. Like, I get a lot of like different types of jobs, or I get like lump sums of money. Like last summer, I got flown out, like all expenses paid. I got like flight paid for, hotel paid for, and then I got paid for the actual job of teaching for the week. Like when you get a lump sum of money like that, let me tell you something. Like people will try to tell you need to do Louis Prada Gucci, but you have to be like,
Chanel, please.
yes, like like people will tell you like, oh, do. But when you get a lump sum of money, you have to look past like, wow, I'm balling right now. You have to be like more mature than like, oh shit, I'm balling right now.
It's time to handle
like,
business.
Let me go do something. Like you gotta be like, all right, I gotta dedicate this amount of money to doing this or do like. And like, well, we don't have to talk about the exact numbers, but Shayla and I have talked, like, I've gone to him and been like, all right, like, I got this amount of money. I want to invest this. What should I do? Like, because I know at the end of the day, by the time I'm 40, I'm not trying to be, like, doing no shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love dancing, I love teaching, but, like, my time is so much important, and I have like definitely personal stories of why time means like so much to me, and I just want to like enjoy that shit. Like
big fact.
Right. Next question: do you guys, for the jobs that you guys have currently right now, do you guys enjoy it, and do you guys see yourself doing it long term?
I think for me, my job's a little bit complicated in the sense I'm an ER nurse. So I think right now the pandemic has compromised that in the sense that all of my coworkers who have been working prior to the pandemic have told me, it's okay, baby, just stick it out. I've been saying that to me for 2 years. But I think that, when I was in nursing school, I was really stuck. I didn't like anything. And I went on a missions trip to the DR, and my teacher was like, oh, this is kind of how an urban ER works. in a sense that I was like, okay, great, that's what I'm gonna go to. I'm gonna go to an ER in the inner city, and I'm gonna work there, and I'm gonna have a great time. And then the pandemic was like, boom. So in theory, I feel like once we get over this hump, I'm optimistic in a sense that we will get over this hump, that I'll enjoy my job a little bit more than I do. But I do think that representation matters. I'm one of the very few ER nurses of color that work during the daytime. And I do see the direct effects of having someone who looks like you teaching you and taking care of you makes a difference.
It does.
So I do genuinely like that sense of things. I love being creative in a sense of mentoring children and teaching dance and performing myself. So I would say it's like 50-50. I love my job on one aspect of things from a 50% stance, but I think the pandemic has drastically impacted that.
Yeah. Mia is an amazing people person. Let me tell you something. This girl can walk in a room and do not know anybody, and she be friends with everybody by the end of the time. So that I definitely know, as somebody who spent a lot of times in hospitals, I definitely do understand the need for that. But at the same time, I do think that your advocacy work and philanthropy work, that can still
Philanthropist.
that can still go over using that nursing experience, even if you don't want to necessarily quote unquote stick it out, and I think that experience is phenomenal. And then also in the pageant world as well, I think that's all applicable.
Shout out to
So,
Miss Goody.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Do I like my job? I think it's okay. I like the money. When I was working, I like the money.
Cash, dollars.
Wait,
Big
I do
money.
have a question.
Dinero.
I do have a question. Do you ever feel
Cake.
the money is not worth it? Do you ever feel this is good money, but what I gotta go through isn't worth it?
That's me with anything. Yeah, sometimes. The money was good. The money I was seeing was kind of I never really realized it because money.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh wow, that's a lot of money. You know what I mean? Compared to other people. To me,
Oh yeah.
I'm like, whatever.
Let's
But,
unpack
What was
that.
the thing his first, what was it called? The first 100, what did you call that?
Honey bun.
Oh, the first honey
Talk about that honey bun. What's the honey bun again?
bun? Ladies, yeah.
Just to be, refresher.
So
Dash wavy.
honey bun is 100,000.
Okay.
Funny stuff. Actually,
He untucked his chain.
nah.
He said he bought a house with that.
Nah, you know what's funny? I'm gonna go on a quick little tangent.
Diamond boy.
When I first graduated, so before I was in school for 6 years to get my bachelor's. Cool. I knew something had to give. Something had to give. Coming out of college, I thought I was gonna make 6 figures. First job.
Immediately. Yeah, that's
Immediately.
the lie.
That's the biggest lie. I got my first job. I don't even want to say the number.
The second scam of America.
I'm like, yo. I was kind of miserable. I see why people were angry all the time. I see why people were being angry. You be wondering why people so angry, and I realized why they're angry.
Because you started becoming.
And honestly, the company I was working for at the time, I probably one of the highest paid, and I was the youngest.
That's why you
From that top.
And people that I was working with 40s, 50s, kids, grandkids, house, mortgage. I don't have none of that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, how did they survive?
Yeah.
So I told myself, yo, I have to get out.
Yeah.
For real. And I told my dad, yo, I'm quitting my job. This is when I was going into the IT field. And my dad, and this is when I knew there's a disconnect between millennials and, because he looked at me with disgust.
Yes.
He was like, he didn't even say anything actually. He just looked at me and kind of shunned me off.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, well, I know what I want for my life. You know what I'm saying? You'll see. All you gotta do is believe in yourself. Don't be scared to quit your job. If you want to chase your dream or get more money.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it'll be all worth it. So yeah, then I started, I got into my field, whatever. My dad asked me how much you make now. And the whole dynamic just switched, you know what I mean? And he became a believer. So sometimes you gotta just believe in yourself. No, he became a believer, you know what I mean? Because he used to watch me from home. He was like, wow. And you don't gotta go in, like he didn't understand the concept. My dad's a nurse, so you gotta go in,
I'm screaming.
and you see me, my feet kicked up, nervous is on the front. I'm on my laptop and you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I forgot where I was going with this, but don't be scared to quit your job. I like the money from my job. It's cool, but that's not the end goal, so.
Yeah.
What was your question again?
How was your experience working, and do you see it long term?
I feel like I feel like for me, well, like my current job, I don't see it a long term type thing. The money is straight, but I don't feel like it's a long term thing for me because honestly, I'm in a transition of like switching my careers and things like that. So, so I don't definitely feel like it's a
Oh no, I was making a joke, but she didn't get it.
I think it's important that we allow people to have subliminal messages.
I'm gonna let y'all rock, but nah. But yeah, so like I don't feel like the current job is my long term job, but like so I'm in a transition of switching over. So and I'm definitely interested in that and just gaining that information in long term and things like that. And you know what I mean? It's kind of like the topic that I was talking about earlier about heirs property and things like that. So you know what I mean? So I'm more interested into that field in that area.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny that you say that because we are all, I think, in our 20s.
Mm-hmm.
In a sense,
Jeez.
from like a nursing standpoint, we're all in this discovery phase.
Yeah.
We're all in this phase where we're trying to figure out self-identity and where we belong in the world.
Yeah.
So it's an ongoing process, and I think that we can literally like cater that to our careers, right? This is just the tip of the iceberg. When we really think about it, this is probably, if we keep going on a steady path, this is the least amount of money in the bottom line as far as success that we will ever be.
For real.
Yeah.
So I think that for all the listeners out there, if you're in your 20s, just take that.
Take that risk, man.
Yeah, take
Big
that
bags
risk.
coming.
And take that risk.
That's a fact.
Jump off that
Love
cliff
it.
and just realize that you have this baseline of wherever you are in your 20s. The fruit of your labor that you have put in for so long is already there. It's already laid, and that foundation's there.
That's a fact.
So go for it.
Right, and don't be scared to like fail. I think the best learning experience is when you like just miss the mark. Like that's the best way to be like, oh wow, like I should have done this, I should have done that. Like just don't, because I know a lot of people have operated out of fear, and that's just not the way to go, because you don't want to wake up one day and be like, damn, I didn't do anything I wanted to do because I wanted to have money or I wanted to have security, like I wanted to have X, Y, and Z. But it's like sometimes you just gotta you gotta grind, like you gotta like face the fact, like I said, like so many people at like who I go to school with have been okay with not like living a luxurious life, and I believe in black girl luxury. Don't don't get it twisted. Like I believe in that, but I also know how to be steadfast enough to be like I need to make my money work for me so that I can afford to do those things for myself, and so that I can afford to like give something to my children. Like, but I'm also like I'm not about to be okay with like I said before, ain't no art worth that shit, okay? Like no, like I want to live a certain lifestyle, and I want to let my black children know, because my children are gonna be black, period. Like I want to let them know that it's okay to be luxurious and have things that are worth, you know what I'm saying? Like just worth it, like.
And I think something else to acknowledge, one thing that I learned from being an ER nurse, life itself, in the most simplistic of its form, is precious. Like I've seen 4-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, all the way up to 100. think that their life is gonna go one way, and then all of a sudden, by the blink of an eye, it's done.
Exactly.
It's done, and it's scary, and I don't want anyone to live in that fear. But also acknowledge the fact that life is precious, and you never know where you're at in that line.
Exactly.
You never know what your order is. So just live each day as best as you can, and to the fullest. Take that risk. Take that risk if you don't know if you're living or you're keeping this plentiful bank account, you're keeping these investments that you haven't actually fully invested in.
Take that trip.
There. Take that trip, sis. Take that trip. You don't know where you are in that line. You should be able to have those memories. You should be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor while they are still ripe.
Right.
Absolutely. And honestly, I just don't want people to settle.
Don't settle.
Don't settle. Like,
anyway.
Look at, like, people. It be so frustrating to me because it's like people don't realize
Talk about the frustration
that they settling.
Talk about
that you can get more. The bar's right here. I feel like people work harder to get under the bar than to go over the bar because I feel like the opportunities out there.
It's comfortability though. Like people are scared to take risks on themselves. And I'm not gonna lie, like I feel that way too, like especially as a budding entrepreneur, like not only do I do stuff with dance, like I have like stuff with essential oils and skincare and hair care. It is really difficult to believe in yourself. And I know that we've all kind of seen like either most of it or bits and pieces of the Kanye West documentary that's on Netflix right now. But like one thing I'll say about that nigga, y'all can say anything y'all want to say about him. That man believed in himself, okay? Yeah. He knew. He was like, he was his biggest fan. And that's so hard to do as a creative. That's so hard to do as a professional. And as a human being to be like, I believe in myself this much. And the fact that like the way we see Kanye West right now, the way niggas was treating him, he had to borrow studio time. Right now, people will be like, Kanye West, you can have that shit for a day, for 2 days, for a week if you want it.
Just for him to be on the studio.
Just for him to be in the room.
Yeah.
Like, and you gotta believe in yourself enough to be like, nah, like, I'm on that type time. And I'm working on that. I'm working on my confidence and believing in the dream in that way. But like...
Man, when I first graduated and got my first job, in my head, I was making peanuts. I knew I was making peanuts. I then had to take a risk, quit that job to get like crumbs. But I knew that crumbs, like I took that risk of making crumbs to make, like, I saw the bigger picture. So sometimes you gotta know like what's worth it. You know what I mean? Like I was making X amount of money. I even took, like I quit that and wasn't really seeing any income like that. Just to perfect my skills for 6 months or 1 year, just to change my whole circumstance.
And don't be scared to pay for a course or pay for something that will give you the skills that you need. Exactly. Like, don't be scared to do that. Like, it's to humble yourself. Like, it's okay to keep learning. We're all still students.
Now, if I could jump in, you know what I mean, real quick. To be honest, like when I first got my real job, bro, I thought I made it. I'm not going. You know what I mean? Like, yo, it's so crazy. Like, where I came from, like, yo, the money I was making was big time. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it all depends on like where you come from and where, you know what I mean, where is that glass ceiling? Because, yo, when I got my first offer, bro, I would have took $15,000 less. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I would have thought I made it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it all depends on, you know what I mean, like where you.
Right, this subtle flex was brought to you by.
Not even like that, but like it's just on some like, so it just all depends on like what your perspective is, because like, but at the end of the day, whatever you could get more, it is peanuts. You know what I'm saying? It is not as much as you think it is, because like, yo, the sky's the limit, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like one of those things, but if you come from a situation where this is the cap, what you think it is, then like, you know what I mean? Then you're more easily influenced and things like that, because prior to the whole conversation, I worked the job I'm at, you know, for the rest of my life and been like, okay, I think I'm doing fine. I made it, quote unquote. But it's just like when you kind of look at different scenarios and you kind of start believing in yourself that, you know, I could do more. I could make more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like this ain't really nothing and things like that. So it depends on the perspective.
I do want to say too. I think it also is perspective about fulfillment. Like I think that we put a lot of like weight on money and like how money can make us happy, but I don't really think it's about money. And I really had the glorious experience of being able to. My grandmother is like my heart and soul, like combined, and she is well ahead of her time. Like she was working in corporate America with my grandfather, where she met him, making big bucks, all of that stuff. Then she transferred into being a secretary for a church.
Shout out to Donald.
Yeah.
And Enid, yes, they're real ones. They're supporting. But then she, I want to say she was in her 50s at the point where she decided she wanted to be a shiatsu practitioner, which is a form of massage. So she went to school, making significantly less money than she was making before, but she was happy. She had a different level of fulfillment. She could take that job and she could tweak it. Like she could make it her own, and still to this day, like in her 70s, she's still using those principles of her passion to really do what she wants to do. So yes, like I know that a lot of what our generation is like filled by is getting the bag, but I also think it's about getting the fulfillment, because we've seen so many people who get the bag and still are not happy.
That's true.
So it's like, how do we like seek fulfillment? Like I do believe that us having more free time will help with that. So still fuck that job. But no, but not my job. But
Not my job.
I love you.
Definitely fuck my job.
But that time is still vital. But it really is about us as people, like dedicating the time to get to know ourselves and get to know our passions and what really like makes us personally happy, because that's going to be the way we can run the bag up if we're doing things we care about. Not just some bullshit just so I keep the lights on. Right. That's not it. Wait, I do want to ask if we could take the shot, because it's
Let's take a shot.
Yeah, cheers.
Wait, what the fuck?
Come on, Jevin. Don't you got
He
one?
was like, fuck Jeff, he in the bathroom. With the door open. Nah, really, my bad though. I ain't think.
Yeah, no, it was definitely apparent.
I was running kind of fast. I was like, cause this shit only on 12 minutes. I ain't wanna
Jeff, you know what I mean? That's our cameraman right there.
Say what's up, Jevin.
I'm not on camera. This is my
Jeff got good lit too, yeah.
I'm not on camera.
AKA Cootie and
My hand. Alright. That was good right there. You know,
Jeff
I got
the man.
Now,
Appreciate you though.
Next question. Let's take a shot real quick.
Wait, Nee, you might wanna
Should not take.
say not fuck with you. You good?
This is my last shot. I ain't messing with you.
Oh my gosh.
What you scared?
Can we go to the restaurant?
Shit, I thought you had other
crab ragout.
alcohol.
I'm not gonna lie though, my mom literally loves crab ragouts.
No, I'm gonna go up.
Next week.
Good as hell, yo.
I'll hook you up for sure.
So.
I know.
That shit.
I was about to say.
That's when I go
Who's
to
allergic to
awkward
seafood?
moment when Tati has never tried it.
You can't have nothing? No seafood out?
Well, so I mean, I eat salmon, but like I don't eat like.
Cause you went to sushi, right?
Damn, bro, you missing
sushi.
out.
I know, everybody tells me, and sushi too, like Shayla be like forcing it, but
I just made some shrimp and salmon yesterday, bro. Listen,
I have to make a disclaimer.
big
Big
chef in the building.
Killing all of it. Just disclaimer: Tati's my best friend.
yes.
And Shayla is gonna be the guardian of my kids. So
We included this.
They will be dancing and going to sushi dates. Just saying. Little tank. Just smile.
He is a very solid human being, and I love her very much.
You said you want your kids to date her kids?
What? They gonna be cousins, Jevin. What you talking about?
Jevin, that's not.
Y'all not even blood.
That's my best friend.
Jevin drunk.
I ain't hear what she said. She said my kids and your kids, some shit.
No, I said that Tati is going to be with my kid. She's truly going to be the godmother
You gotta
of my
enunciate.
kid.
And Shayla's gonna
And
be
then I think I enunciate pretty well.
yeah.
No, at that time I didn't hear
In
shit.
the
I'm just
sense
be
of
honest.
that Shayla is going to be with Tati, therefore
Got it. I get it now.
Shayla will
I get
be
it
the
now.
goddad.
I get it now.
Therefore, my kid will be under.
Okay, I get it now.
I think I tell Shayla this once a month. So.
Yeah.
No, I love it though. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Next question. Was there ever a point in time where, damn.
What exactly?
He's basically saying, was there ever a point in time where you was like, we gotta cut this man off?
No, was there ever a point in time where you
I ain't
was
cutting
like,
shit.
He
Keep
didn't
rolling.
even finish the shot.
No.
Right. Going like, no.
Yeah.
He didn't even finish
Listen,
the shot.
a couple shots.
Because side story, before we was shooting, we had a couple
like
shots.
3 shots in.
And I was like, yo, we should chill. He was like, what, you scared?
No,
So,
but
like, nah,
I'm
like,
good.
what you scared?
Oh.
Yeah.
Has
Maybe
there
you
ever
shouldn't have
been
did
a
that.
time where you were at a job and it was like, is this what I want? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Hell.
Every
it's,
Monday.
Every
What?
day.
Every Monday.
No, every day.
Every day.
It's literally every day.
I think that it's something to acknowledge. Actually, it's something that you told me, Tati.
Mm-hmm.
Take a second to acknowledge your feelings.
Yeah.
And allow yourself to realize that those feelings are valid. And then take a second to realize what you wish your feelings were.
Mm-hmm.
And then take one tangible thing that you can do to then allow yourself to be in the feeling that you want to be in.
Yeah.
So I think that that's natural. I think that everyone who is a working individual feels that way, unless you have a crazy trust or investment funds that your family has like given over to you where you don't have to work. Everyone contemplates that at some point in their weekly schedule, if they work at all. But I think from that you just have to realize, is this something that I want to continue with?
Yeah, I was listening to this podcast, and it has like nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. But it basically was talking about how like throughout a person's lifetime, like 46% or so of human beings like go through like mental illness or something. So when you think of mental illness, it can be like, you know, bipolar, depression, anything of that nature. But for me, what I took from that is just that as human beings, like we're always like evolving, we're always changing. So there's always going to be a point where we feel like kind of dissatisfied by what we're doing. Like I feel like that's what I was saying. I was like, Jay-Z probably feels that way. Beyonce probably feels that way. Like, damn, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Even at the height of their fame, you know, their wealth, they're still probably like, damn, is this the right business deal? Yes, Deli.
You think so?
Absolutely.
I don't know about that one.
No, because they're human beings. Like, they're not gods. I feel like when people make a certain amount of money, we be trying to be like, oh, like, they don't have feelings no more. They're just
idolize
happy
them
because they have money. Nah, nigga, they still got feelings. They still went through regular marital shit. Like,
Right.
You
if I could
idolize them.
If I could just jump in.
Babe, just say what you got.
I don't know them personally, but I doubt they feeling with it.
It's actually really funny. A friend of mine who kind of had a taste of that fame said a lot of these stars, they're really just like you. They just have a cooler job.
Exactly. And if that was the case, why would Jay-Z cheat on Beyonce? If he was just that nigga.
Well, I mean, that's
I know.
We're not about to get into this
I know
shit
I'm
tonight.
not talking about, like, I'm not trying to make this a relationship thing, but I'm just putting it to the perspective of, if this man had everything in the world that somebody could want, they had money, they had the bad bitch, they had fame, they was even a motherfucking rapper and a drug dealer. They had all of those things. Why would he need to cheat on her if he had everything he wanted?
We don't know the details.
Because we don't know the details. We don't know the details, but he's a human being. That's what we do know. We know that he's a human ass being. So that's why I'm saying, like, yes, while this podcast is about money, it definitely does need to be about, like, what do you personally need as a human being to be happy and be content with yourself and your life? Because if it's just about, B. Simone said it in an interview that she did, if it's just about the money, you'll get the money. I believe in y'all enough, like, that I know that each of y'all individually, you know, Deli and Shayla, I know that y'all will get the money, and even Nia, I know y'all will get the money.
And Jevin.
And Jevin. Can't forget about Jevin.
I'm scared.
Jevin's the favorite, y'all don't know. But, like, y'all will all get the money. But I would hate for one day for each of us to individually wake up and be like, damn, I'm not happy with myself
It's really
because I focus just on the money. We all gonna get the money. We smart enough, we're intelligent enough, we're charismatic enough, but like,
Nah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm not like I'm not like disagreeing with you saying, but I'm just thinking it's just a different capacity to the level of like. But anyway,
to the level with Jay-Z.
yeah.
This is Jay-Z, his favorite rapper, so he's not gonna say
the whole thing, like, you know, and that's the scary part because you know, and I always try to think about this like, yo, if I get everything I want, eventually I'm gonna want more.
Of course.
And what happens when?
That's a natural.
You know what I'm saying? And what happens when you get everything you want? You know what I mean?
That's something
But that's what
to
I'm
talk
talking
about.
about.
Right. That's exactly what she's talking about. And shout out to Bella Hook because she talks about that in her book. She talks about the simple fact that yes, some people keep striving and keep wanting and wanting more because they do not have the time to self-reflect and realize what they want so that they feel a fulfilled life. It's not about climbing a ladder, it's about reaching fulfillment. So yes, you think that that's what you're going to keep doing, but once you figure out what Deli wants, once you figure out what Deli will be fulfilled by, you won't keep climbing because you'll keep going to that fulfillment period and you'll stop there.
You want to know what's funny? When I grew up,
What fulfills you?
I used to want 6 figures.
Okay.
That used to be the goal.
Yeah.
If I make 6 figures, I'm good.
Yeah.
I tweeted. You can even check my Twitter right now.
I seen it. I know exactly what you're about to talk about.
I said,
it ain't changed me or something.
I said, 6 figures ain't changed shit.
Yeah, I know.
Let's see what 7 can do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I remember.
So, you know what I mean? It didn't really make a difference.
But that's the whole concept about money is that it's not.
It ain't.
No, but real shit.
It's not.
But y'all not you guys are hearing
Yeah, y'all not
what
picking it
Tati is saying, but you are not.
Yo, I used to think
Y'all ain't
6
picking
figures
up what
was
I'm
good.
saying.
Yeah, that's it.
Y'all
Bro,
are
she-
not
listening.
What Tati is saying,
Yeah.
outside of the money,
Yeah.
what is the fulfillment?
Exactly, because like I said before, money ain't shit.
Money is not.
And I will do a disclaimer. I love Beyonce and I love Jay-Z very, very much, and I don't know their personal situation, but I do know that money is not the thing that fulfills Jay-Z.
Yeah,
It's not the thing that fulfills. It can't be, but I'm just saying, like, there are a lot of people, and you know, Shayla and I had a conversation last night about just like accomplishing things, and it's like, as human beings, we're always going to want to be like, all right, let's check this thing off, let's check this thing off, let's check that thing off. But it's like, until we get to a point where we're comfortable with ourselves and like, we're comfortable with like, what being comfortable feels like, that'll be the happiness. It's not about the money. Fuck the money. Like, we could be having the same conversation and all individually be billionaires. Just talking about talking about life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I get it, and I do appreciate, and I advocate for y'all like heavily. I think that we should definitely be spreading the wealth and the knowledge to the people in our community. But let's get it straight. If you get 100 bands tomorrow, your ass can still be the fuck unhappy.
I'm happy.
Okay?
Oh, no, that's a fact.
That's a fact.
Still be the fuck
Even
unhappy.
a million.
Yeah.
I might be happy. I'm just being honest.
Jevin,
Nah, it's real shit.
Jevin, you emotional. We know.
All I want is
No,
that
you
debt
lying.
gone. I don't need nothing else.
Wait. There was a saying, Wolf of Wall Street. He said, "I've been a poor man and I've been a rich man. I choose rich."
Yeah, I actually have something to talk about that for.
Speak on it.
It's something to say, like when you say I've been a poor man and I've been a rich man and I choose to be a rich man, you are technically still that poor man. You still have that poor man's mentality.
That's a fact.
How to change a poor mindset.
I kinda-
Somebody wrote a
It's
book.
really hard.
I kind of read a book about that one too, so that's a valid point.
And it's really funny because little weird thing about me. I've had the luxury of hanging with some pretty wealthy people. And
Big
when you
bag.
hang with these people,
Let's
you can
unpack
tell the people who
Let's talk about it.
came from wealth
Yeah.
in a sense that they've had general wealth that they've inherited and have continued to maintain. And then you can tell the people who I actually met a guy, and I hope he doesn't listen to this, but I met a guy who literally went to high school at Frankfurt. His family came from nothing. And now he has like this.
Yeah, so last question is 2 parts. What's the end goal? And if you had all the money in the world, what would you do? What would you be doing with your time? So we could start off with you, and then we go to Tati, probably me, and then you could probably end off.
Okay.
So mine's a little complex. If I had all the money in the world.
Well, first question is,
what's the end goal?
What's the end goal for you?
Alright, so I gotta tell you guys a story a little bit first. So
try to keep it concise.
I know, I'll keep it concise. So I was at the hospital, and there was this guy who was an EMS worker in training, and he came in. He was super cute, and I wanted to date him, clearly. And he was like, "What's your 5-year goal?" And I was like, "Oh, I think I gave him a BS answer." And he was like, "And so what's your 10-year goal?" And I was like, again,
another BS
gave him a BS answer. And he was like, "Oh, okay, like, awesome." And we kept talking and whatever, and I was like, "I have to go to the bathroom for a second." He was like, "Okay." I went to the bathroom, and I called my dad, and I started crying uncontrollably. And my dad was like, "Tiny, like, what is wrong? Like, what is going on?" And I was like, "Dad, I don't know what my 5-year, my 10-year goal is." And I just started bursting out in tears. And so I've reached a point in my life where all of the things that I envisioned and all of the goals that I wanted to hit, I kind of hit. And I didn't realize that I needed to take more time to self-reflect in a sense of where I wanted to go next. And so I was explaining this to my dad in a lot of sob stories. And he was like, "Well, Tiny, it's just time for you to absorb where you are. Even God had a period of time where he just rested. And this is like my resting period, even though it doesn't feel like rest. It's rest in a sense of that I'm supposed to be just absorbing all of the information, all of the things I need to learn about myself right now in order to propel myself forward." He also like put a little tangent in saying that in this time I might receive an opportunity that I might not expect, that I didn't have planned, and I can then harp on that. So right now, my end goal, I have a lot of different dreams. I want to have a place where I teach people how to live healthier lives. I want to have a place where people can create and perform and showcase that. And then I also want to have a place where people can continue to fuel their scholastic endeavors in like a scholarship standpoint. But right now, I don't know. And I kind of think that that's okay. In the sense of I'm just like embracing all that's coming to me, having these 3 goals in mind. I low-key want to like have a bucket list of doing a marathon, maybe Tough Mudder, and going on a little bit of a reality show. But other than that, like, I don't really know, and I feel like that's okay. Because I'm allowing my opportunities and possibilities to be open and endless. I feel like I possess a lot of different skills that are lucrative, and so I'm just kind of trying to embrace that. And then what was your second question?
If you had
all the money in the world, what would you be doing with your time?
So Tati knows this. If I had all the money in the world, I'm low-key a little bit of a bougie hippie. Like, a part of me like loves my Tom Ford heels and my brunch that is way too expensive. But another part of me like wants to be in Guatemala and just open up shop and help the people who just need a little bit of help. So if I had all the money in the world, I would create a self-sustaining hospital in a rural or third world country, in the sense of that we would develop this facility. It would be a nice facility that's fully stocked and equipped with things that people need, and then we would teach the citizens around that community how to sustain it. Almost like a low-key little socialist society, to be able to continue to self-fund it so they can keep living on for generations and generations. So it's not one of those things that's for a financial gain. It's not something that's for a capitalist society. It's something that just fuels the community directly and allows the community to have tangible skills to maintain it.
Period.
So that's what I would do with all the money in the world.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That shit
And
lit.
maybe I buy myself another pair of Converse to be able to show up at the gala.
Yeah.
Then you ruined it.
Your question was about what would you do with the most money?
First question is
What's the end goal?
what's the end goal?
And then the second question is about
If you had all the money in the world, you never had to work for $1 ever again, what would you do with your time?
Okay. I would say, what's the end goal? The end goal is to feel like I'm at a point where I truly am coming to grips with who I am. I feel like a lot of times there are so many things that happen in life that it's like, damn, like, who am I? What am I? Why am I? Like, you ask yourself all these questions, but I want to come to a place where I'm like, this is who I am and I'm comfortable with it. And I think that having money, you know, if you get to the point where you have, like, you know, excessive money, you know, bukus of money, like, you know, your billions, whatever, it's like you come to a point where you really, really know yourself. And I really, really want to, I want to begin, like, meditation. Prior to today, I was on a fast for 28 days from alcohol and, like, you know, just other substances, where I was really trying to get close to God.